Egoists is a game with a lot of patterns, symbols and metaphors. That's why as the author I couldn't resist making the social media of this game look like this too, which unfortunately hurts the marketing of it, and before anyone hears about it and knows the lore enough to notice such things, it will be ages. And I already want to yap about it. So today I will explain the lore and lore details hidden in my posts on Instagram, so you can hopefully look for similar details in the future. You play as Gniewunia, a mother looking for someone to blame for her daughter's death, Kaszka, a humanization of fate, the murderer of her daughter, or May, a copy of God, a detective. Each of them represents a given emotion: fear, anger, and emptiness.
They worked together. She forced them to find the reason for her daughter's death using Ego app. Gameplay is based on Ego app.
Gniewunia is a very confident, beautiful woman with a perfect memory and intuition, negative IQ, and as befits a representative of anger issues that used to scare people before she started behaving like a goofball. Her selfish decision is the reason the lives of the rest of the characters change, mostly for the worse. May is a dude who was groomed and trained at a young age, practically transformed into a weapon to kill. Why? To defeat Echo, a god, in a war between soldiers and civilians. He had to eat, sleep, walk, breathe, dress, exactly like Echo, because in short, the bad guys thought it was necessary for him to become the same as him, to know his thoughts in order to defeat him. So after all, he replaced the Void with the personalities of his dead friends. Oh, and he has a mental illness that tells him his body is not his, so he tries to cut off his limbs at every possible opportunity. By the way, I'm gonna do videos about finishing their designs, so if you're interested. Kaszka is evil to the core, and only fear and selfish needs make her behave like a good person. One look at you can change your fate. Luckily, she has schizophrenia, so imaginary monsters block her view. Yippee! Oh, just don't let her die, because then the whole world will reset to a certain checkpoint. So, above that point, you can see that each lines of post belongs to each of my characters, right? Purple to May, blue to Gniewunia, green to Kaszka. I mean, these ones below look different but have the same rules. Why? Well, because he is kinda different. He has two phones. First phone is basic. Basic because everyone's backstory will seem basic at first. And because he replaced his lack of personality with the personalities of other people, those he knows and those he meets, his character contains elements of the game, because characters in the game are an important element of the game. You could say that May represents the game. So if a character will seem to have basic backstory at first and May represents character elements of the game, it makes sense if he has basic font. I hope you get what I mean, that was really difficult to explain for non-native English speaker. The first font represented his lack of personality, the second font represents the personality they wanted to force on him, Echo's personality. And Echo is an elegant gentleman, brought up in an almost aristocratic manner, so the font is elegant. Kaszka font is scary because the character represents fear. I mean, in scary movies they probably use such fonts because it is associated with dripping blood, I guess. Gniewunia font is goofy and reminds of Christmas. Why Christmas? Because Christmas is associated with a family and her character is based around family and being a moron. Okay, we know the posts are divided into sections. Now, what are they about? Remember how I said that at first it would seem that each character has a basic backstory? Let's call it character introduction 0. Because, you know, you kind of get to know the character but not really. Makes sense, right? And that's what these posts are about, what you'll notice about these characters first. Each character has two sections, including one section with Babunia's comment about them and two posts about their personality traits. And the second section to show the character's design in a normal or creative way. Of course, May is an exception, having instead of showing his design, showing the game's logo, because as I said, he kinda represents the game. Oh, and I haven't put Gniewunia's designs yet due to lack of time. I think I will continue this pattern with the next characters. Music choice. In this post about Gniewunia's beauty, I chose song String Cafe Buba Date, because the thing about date is that you try your best to leave a good impression on the other person. And that's what she always tries to do. She's really confident in her beauty, but really insecure about her intelligence. Or this ugly post with a song As the Light Fades when talking about her humanity, well, fading. Alright, that might be a little cliché, but makes sense, okay? Some Kashka songs are for atmosphere, some are for lore. Ah yes, schizophrenia is so silly, at least that's how she thinks about it. It feels like I've forgotten something? I wonder who's that about? No, I'm not gonna explain that. Anyway, you already probably know how this works, so I'm pretty sure you figured out May's songs too. Next! This character is Iko, and he is the only one who has a comment under the post written according to what he would say, because he is the only character who breaks the fourth wall. Because they are the only thing I use to promote my account, reels have their own rules, and there is no big trickery in them. But I still try to keep some kind of floristic sense in them. For example, the first mini-series was about drawing people as objects in Kashkar's room, and because no one really knows the real her, the keys she receives are random, just like her room is randomly decorated by strangers and decorated with strangers. In the game, May's room is decorated by Echo, and Gniewunia's room is decorated by players. And so on. I didn't mention a few details in this video because I don't want to overwhelm you with everything at once, but I think you'll figure out then over time. There are 1 or 2 posts that don't hide anything, they just there because I wanted to show my art. If you made this far, say hello in the comments, leave a thumbs up or down. Let me know what you think because I'm just starting my YouTube adventure and I can only guess. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.